So, good morning, sir. Good morning, Arnab, sir.
Morning, good morning, good morning.
I'm Satyajit Das.
Yes.
So, I think that is total near about 35 students are present. Okay, it is showing 39, but myself is present, you are present, so it is 37 now. So, it will start at 9:10. Okay, so Somojit has joined, I think. So the students, I'm telling you that already TCS exam date has been announced. Okay, we have already seen it is in October 24th, 25, 26, I think. So we have just 40 days left. Okay, so you have to be serious and you have to crack the exam. So sir will be guiding you, and you should be well prepared for it. Okay, so lot of practice is needed, and you should sincerely follow his class and sincerely practice after the class so that you can easily crack the TCS exam. So take this seriously, all the students, so that you can get success.
Sir, I think we can start right now. It's 9:10, around 42 students have joined. Though around 60 students should have joined, but we'll see to it. So I think we'll start right now.
Starting. Okay. So welcome to you all and good morning to everybody. We are going to start a very serious training program. There is a coding preparatory training program. And today I'm just giving you one introductory webinar, but obviously if time permits, I shall go for some coding also. So today I want to make the total planning ready for us because we're having a very limited number of days left, you know, and also this training we're going to have 24 sessions, and if you consider 3 Sundays are coming in between, so the total training span will be 27 days. Okay, so out of these 27 days we'll be also taking assessments, some exams, some classwork will be done. So I think it will be the totally the hands-on session. So my request to my students is that you see, try to log from your laptops or from your desktops. Don't log from your mobile devices, because you know that in the class I shall give you some assignments, small assignments, say hard assignments. So they are to be solved at your end. I shall give you say 5 minutes time, 10 minutes, 20 minutes time to solve the assignments. I shall take care of all the guidances, but you should also do the coding with me. It is not like that will be going only for the theories and trainer will give only the demonstration. So
This conference will now be recorded.
so we are going to start this coding preparatory training program, and we are going to have 24 into 3, so we are having 7 to 72 hours of training. Within the 72 hours of training, we are supposed to have some 3 to 4 classes, 3 to 4 sessions I shall be taking on the logic building and the complexity analysis, how to reduce the complexity of a program. You know that complexity can be of two types. One is the space complexity, another one is the time complexity. Space complexity denotes that how much memory the program would be consuming during the execution of the code. That is the space complexity. And the time complexity will depend that depending given for a given input, what is the total amount of time the program would take to get executed. So we require to have the concept of both the complexities, time and space as well. So that's why we'll be spending 3 to 4 sessions on this logic building and all. Then I'm planning to have say 13 sessions mainly on this coding uh, practices, coding skill development. There are so many different types of programs may come, and if you go for the exhaustive classifications, so far I feel that it is having more than 50 such, not more than 50, at least more than 40 to 50 type of category of problems are there. If you go for finer categories, but if you go for the broad categories, then obviously you'll be having 10 to 15 different broad category of problems are there. You might be asking me what is the broad category and what is the exhaustive category. Say in case of dynamic programming. So dynamic programming is a broad category. But if you go for the detailed study of this dynamic programming, we're going to have 5 different subcategories of problems may come under the dynamic programming. So that is the exhaustive category, whatever I'm trying to mention. So there are so many coding portals nowadays are available. There are so many coding portals. You can do the practice on them. You can do the free registration. Very few of them are paid services are there, but you can do enough practices. You can work with say more than thousands of problems you can work with. Okay, so that's why you cannot blame that resources were not available. There are so many good tutorials are available, blogs are available to guide you how to be a good coder. Now, why this coding preparatory training program? The college is thinking, we are thinking for you. Why? See, just 4 to 5 years back, if you go to 4 to 5 years back, that means when you took admission for the BTech courses and all. So at that time, in the campusing process, the first round was the aptitude test. After clearing the aptitude test, the second round was your group discussion. After clearing the group discussion, so those students, those candidates will be switching to the next round, that is a psychometric analysis. After clearing that psychometric analysis, the next round might be the HR round. And after the HR round, after clearing the HR round, then the next round is your coding. So that is the technical round. So that was also not coding, that was the technical round. Across the table, the interviewer will ask questions to the interviewee and supposed to answer the technical questions properly. First question, very default. First question, what are your favorite subjects? So that is the first question, all you know. But those days have gone. Now the first round is the coding, and if you can pass the coding, the second round might be a coding. If you pass the second round, then the third round might be a coding. So in this way, I have found that there are some companies, they are taking 5 rounds of coding, then HR, and then direct recruitment. So nowadays it has become. I'm having a very good contact with CodeShape. Okay, so one of the very renowned co-founder of CodeShape. I think you know the term CodeShape. There is a good coding portal. So he was my student actually. So I was having a discussion with him. I'm telling that why companies are giving more emphasis on this coding. Why? Then that very student, that is a co-founder of CodeShape. So he was telling that is company, IT companies have found that the cheapest way to recruit the right manpower for their industries is through coding rounds. So that's why companies are conducting coding rounds, not a single one, but multiple coding rounds before selecting the right manpower for the company, for the IT companies at least. But you might be knowing better than me that coding is everywhere. There are so many companies that are doing marketing. That means coding is not the mandatory skill nowadays. Coding has become the basic skill. So just passing your class 10 public exam. So something like that. Basic skill, basic requirement. If you go for IoT, coding is there. If you go for software testing, coding is there. So if you go for any kind of automation, industrial automation, coding is there. Coding is everywhere. If you go for CNC machines, codings are there. So everywhere there is a coding and only coding. So that's why people are giving more emphasis in the coding. So irrespective of the industry vertical, if you go for AutoCAD, if you go for civil mechanical engineering drawing, coding is there. So in AutoCAD, there is a particular programming language known as AutoLisp. Coding is there. You can use AutoLisp and you can easily, dynamically, you can design a particular drawing, complicated drawing using AutoLisp. So that's why each and every company, irrespective of the industry verticals, they require coding. And coding has become the basic and standard and most required mandatory skill. So we are focusing on this coding preparatory training program. But trust me, as we are also having the what should I say, the purpose to prepare yourself for uh, the InfyTQ. There is an Infosys training program. I don't know whether you have done the registration on the InfyTQ portal or not. So my humble request to you all, please do the registration there, because I shall be opening my account. I shall be doing the coding on there, and I shall show that how the InfyTQ study material you can go through. So that InfyTQ study material, whatever they have provided, what a nice way they have prepared the tutorial. Really, I should hats off to those developers, those thinkers, planners who have developed that tutorial. Fantastic tutorial they have prepared. And obviously the company name is Infosys, so always they maintain a certain quality. So that very tutorial, that is a InfyTQ. Okay, you can search on the net InfyTQ, and you can get the link and do the registration. Obviously taking the permission from your TPO department, and that how to do the registration and so on. Please maintain that formalities. So now if you do the registration there you can find that it is having 4 modules. 4 modules are there. Okay, so what are the 4 modules are there in case of InfyTQ? The first module is on, that is the introduction to programming, introduction to Python. The first module is introduction to Python. Okay, this is the first module. The second module is object oriented programming using Python, is the second module. The third module is data structure using Python. And the fourth module, that is the main point of concern actually, for which I'm telling you all these things. The fourth module is there is a database, DBMS. Okay, so it is DBMS. Here we are having the big data. Here we are having so many queries, SQL queries running on uh, your Oracle, and then we are having the MongoDB. What is the difference between MongoDB and Cassandra? Big data. What is big data? What is the NoSQL? what is a structured database, semi-structured database, unstructured database. So everything, the concept is there, and that is a big module. So far I can recall that it is having 9 sections. 9 sections are there. So these 9 sections are there. Data structure is having so many sections. So if you go on adding, there are 21 to 25 sections are there. And trust me, just believe me, if you want to cover these sections, each and every sections, it will take, if you want to do that one honestly, that means if you do every solution yourself, not taking help from the internet. So if you do the solution, and I hope that you will be doing that one, because you know that solutions will be available on the internet, but until and unless you face errors, until and unless you sit with your paper and pencil, so do the rough work, you cannot learn the subject. So that's why to complete each and every section, it requires at least 12 hours. Each and every section will require 12 hours. Why 12 hours? That means one full day. One full day. So that 12 hours will be required to cover each and every section. Might be some sections might be requiring more. Now, one professor from one of the engineering colleges, he told me that he asked Infosys correspondent person that why these modules are so tough. Students are facing lots of problem, and they used to spend at least 12 hours per day to complete all these modules, and they're awesome. They're awesome. If you go to this introduction to Python, object oriented programming in Python, you'll be getting detailed idea, and there are so many varieties of problems they are given there. So to pass the InfyTQ, you should complete this 4 modules, and some mock tests are also there. You can also go through, and then only you can test yourself, and then only you can have the courage, you can have the guts, you can have the preparation to appear for your, say, your code vita, or say code jam, or say other any kind of competitive exams. So that professor asked that the Infosys people that why these modules are so tough, why the students will have to spend here. Actually, his question is that how many hours a student should spend to complete one module. The answer came from Infosys side is that at least 12 hours. Then the next question was asked that why 12 hours. The answer came from the Infosys side is that actually in our company people used to work for 12 hours in a day. So while solving this problem, so also they should make that concentration, that dedication, that passion to work for 12 hours in a day to solve these sections, these problems and assignments, and also to work for Infosys. And that is a very vital answer. I hope so. So that's why what we are planning is that we'll be keeping 5 to 6 sections on this DBMS preparation. Okay. So we are yes, obviously we are giving this name as coding preparatory training, but here also we'll be covering the DBMS part. I know the students are coming from multiple different departments. So that's why some students are strong in DBMS. Some students, might have was not having the DBMS as a semester paper, but somehow we have read that one from some other tutorials. So DBMS is a very important concept, and you cannot find any job in the industry. You cannot find any job, any IT job in the industry, which where DBMS concept is not required. So DBMS is so essential. And trust me, in case of this DBMS portion, there are 9 sections are there. If you cross 4 and 5 sections, then onwards the SQL queries will become so hard, so difficult, until and unless we're having the thorough concept, whatever has been shared in the previous sections and in the current sections. At a time, if you don't have that aggregated concept, you cannot solve those SQL queries, and they are the long queries you are supposed to write. So that is the part. So we'll be covering also the DBMS part, whatever we are planning. So that's why broadly I can say that this 24 sessions, whatever we are going to have, 6 days per week and 4 weeks. So it is going to have 3 Sundays, so 27 days we are going to have. So we have divided these 24 sessions like in this way. I'm just giving you a very rough estimation. There is a 4 sessions will be taking on the how to prepare yourself for your logic building, and say complexity analysis, and say how to deal with the standard problems. Okay, so we'll be spending 3 to 4 sessions on that. Then 12 to 13 sessions will be spending on the competitive coding, and then we'll be spending 5 to 6 sessions on the DBMS part, and then we'll be going for some assessments. In between also we'll be having the weekly assessments. I'm not declaring that on which day we're going to have our weekly assessments. So let me get the status of my batch, that how much you know, from where I should start. Let me synchronize my progress with your status. Then obviously I shall declare that on this particular day in a week we'll be having some assessment. We'll be spending some time on the assessment, and rest time I shall be discussing new topics. So that is my planning. Anyone wants to share your planning with me, please? Anyone can unmute. There is no restriction here. You can unmute yourself. Do you have any planning? Whatever I've shared, do you want to add something more, please? Anyone, please unmute and tell me. Anyone requires any other topics to get covered? Can you guide me from where should I start regarding this coding part? Whether you are very much acquainted with this object-oriented programming concepts of Python, you had one training sessions on this Python already. So you know the Python features and Python basics. So object-oriented programming, how far you are confident with this object-oriented programming, because there is a full module in this object-oriented programming, full module on the Infosys InfyTQ portal. Anyone, do you want to share anything or should I continue?
Sir, I have a question for you, sir.
Please, please, please.
Sir, why Python is important for coding prepared round, but so why not rest of other programming languages?
Good. Very, very, very important question you have asked me. Very important question.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Okay. Now the thing is that, see, sorry to say, and don't take it otherwise, you cannot find a single book. You may not find a single coding portal where their coding portal is, they're telling that you should do the coding, competitive coding using Python. You cannot find, so far I know. You might be having more browsing experiences. So far I have downloaded, I have accessed books from the paid services, from the free services. I have found that every portal, almost, and all the ebooks, whatever I've seen, or say paper books, whatever the books I've seen, the competitive coding was done in C++. You cannot find a single book where competitive coding was done in Python. So that is a very important thing. But you know that either in our semester paper C++ has got replaced by Java, or C++ has got replaced by Python, or in the semester paper when we had about C++, we always thought that it is a very backdated language, because you know that in case of C++, until you go for visual C++, you cannot make the Windows programming. You cannot make Windows programming. Windows programming means this PowerPoint, this Word, Excel, they are the Windows programs, Windows applications. So you cannot develop Windows programming, Windows-based applications using C++, let it be Dev C++, Turbo C++, whatever. So now you see, you cannot develop. So that's why using C++ only you can develop console applications, which will run in the black screen, like a DOS screen, console application. So that's why always we gave least importance to the C++. But trust me, in our competitive coding, C++ is the most acceptable language. But C++ is difficult to learn. Python is having so many versatile applications in the daily work. Say, in our software industry, IT industry, we're going to have mainly two types of careers. What are the two types of careers? The first career as a developer. The first career is developer. And the second career is a software tester. Yes, I know that there are so many other careers are there. I'm just going for the broad classifications. Okay. So one is a developer and another one is a tester. So in case of developer, Python is very suitable, because using Python, you can go for, say, console-based programming. So whatever you have had the knowledge on Python, there is a console-based programming. That is, it is running on the, what should I say, on the console. There is a black color screen, the console. There you can't have any mouse control there. You can only have the cursor and type. But if you want to go for the web application, in case of Python, there is one module is tkinter. There is one module is tkinter. So using this one, you can go for web applications. You can have the command button, text box, list box, radio button, you know, everything, the chat box and so on. So all the GUI interfaces you can have. If you want to import tkinter for the GUI application. But if you go for the web-based applications, we're having the Django. We're having the Django. But actually, D will remain silent. We usually call it as Django framework. So this Django is a framework which is meant for the web-based application development using Python. So using Python, you can do all the cases. Now, come to the tester career. We're having a software called QTP. We're having a software called Load Runner. Load Runner. So there you can have the automation testing. What is the meaning of automation testing? The testing will be done automatically. The program will be written and that code will be executed. Testing of the software will be done automatically. There is the automation testing. Another testing is the manual testing. QTP Load Runner. So they used to get programmed using Java. But all the industry nowadays, almost, they're using Selenium. They're using Selenium. If you learn Selenium, job will be after you. Trust me, I'm not joking with you. If you learn Selenium, job will be after you. Now you might be asking me, sir, how can I learn? I'm not having that much amount, that much pay I can make to purchase Selenium. For your courage, I can tell you that Selenium is open source. It is free of cost. You can download it, you can load it, you can work on that. There are so many good tutorials are available free of cost. So many good channels are available on the YouTube free of cost. Only your eagerness, your purpose, your dedication, your achievement, to achieve something, that eagerness is required. In case of Selenium, we can do the programming using Python. Again, Python has come. If you go for the IoT programming, Python is one of the languages. There is another language, there is Objective C or C, like C type of another language is there. But nowadays we are writing the IoT programs in Python. So Python has become so popular. So people are now learning Python, not only for competitive coding, but for upcoming careers. But C++ cannot give you the career. C++ can give you only to pass your this competitive coding round. But what happens, that for the most of the renowned, what should I say, campusing exams, okay, you can find that we can do the programming in multiple different languages. We can do the programming in multiple different languages. So we can go for Go, we can go for Smalltalk, we can go for C++, Python, Java. Nowadays, another language is coming in the market. If you can learn, a job will be after you. There is a Julia. Julia is going to replace Python in the coming few years. So far, the predictions say that Julia is going to replace Python. So there is another language is RScript. Okay, leave it. Now, there are so many languages are there. You can do the pro coding. But if you consider only InfyTQ, from the last year, they have told that you are having two options. Either write program in Python or write program in Java in the final exam. But if you select Python, then all the programs are to be solved in Python only. If you select Java, then all the programs are to be solved in Python only, in Java only. So either one of them. But in some other exams, you can have the variable languages for variable program solving. So now it is up to you whether you'll be going for Python or Java for this InfyTQ preparation. I found that on Java, there are very few coding portals. They have prepared the course outline on this Java. So it is better to go with C++. There's the most acceptable language for competitive coding. If you don't know C++, Shataji said just told that we're having 40 days left. I'll be spending 27 days with you. So in solo, you can take the preparation for 13 days. Only 13 days. You know that it requires months to take the preparation. It requires years to take the preparation. But you are going to have only 13 days to prepare before going for the TCS exam. So now C++ might not be possible for you to learn and apply and all these things. Why C++ has become so popular? Why? It has got no such, industry applications. Then why C++? Because it is having STL. What is the STL? Standard Template Library. Standard Template Library. There are so many pre-written programs are there. The binary search tree. the AVL tree, the stack, queue, everything is predefined in the class. We're supposed to declare the object under the class and use the respective methods. So that's why less coding is required at our end. So most of the coding has been done in STL, standard template libraries. You know that in the library we are having multiple books. Here in this libraries we are having multiple pre-written codes. So that's why we should concentrate C++. If you can't, don't take it as a negative point, because for all the campusing related coding exam rounds, you can use Python 3, but you should be the master of Python. That means different Python is also very enriched with different library functions and all. You should go through a good tutorial on this Python, and you should be mastered on it. Okay, so that is a part. So let me introduce myself. My name is Arnab Chakraborty. I'm having 26 plus years of academic teaching, and in parallel, I'm having more than 13 years of corporate training experiences. I love to introduce myself as a corporate trainer because corporate training used to give me lots of excitements, lots of learning. When I'm teaching some people who are more experienced than me and staying in the IT industry, but I'm talking on a certain topics. I'm discussing some project management. I'm I'm giving the training on project management to a particular employee of the company. Let it be from Accenture or say IBM or some other companies. He might be working on this particular project management for the last 20 years. I'm giving the training to him, so it requires lots of courage at my side. So that's why I love to introduce myself as a corporate trainer. I've conducted training programs for more than 170 companies. For Accenture only, I've taken 27 batches, for IBM 26 batches, Ericsson 22 batches, and almost all industry verticals. Almost. Maruti, Panasonic, whatever, Tata Motors, Tata Steel, everywhere. Not everywhere, obviously, but in almost all industry verticals, I've given that training. Actually, I'm having the technical background, so you know that I've done my physics honors, then computer science, BTech, MTech from Rajavaja Science College, then other certifications I've made. So always I keep myself busy in the study and only study. So that's why that I have came across through multiple industries. I know their requirements, I know their working cultures, I know their discipline. So that I can impart that experience along with my delivery. Okay, so that is my part. One point I want to mention, I've done so many certifications. Just I want to mention this one. I cannot resist myself. Python will always give you acceptance in the industry. So along with this coding round preparation, as you are doing the Python here, please do a one certification on Python. My opinion to all of you, don't take it lightly, please. Because you know that whenever in the interview round, if you say that you are having the Python certification, you'll get more mileage, more leverage you'll get. I can assure you. Now, Start Python Global Enterprise Certification from Start Certification USA. I did this one. You know that I took 6 to 7 days dedicated preparation, 18 hours per day almost. I was doing the study. So on that very particular week, I think 15th August was there, Independence Day, and also Idujju was there on that particular week. So my training was off because that was a two holidays, national holidays were there. So that I selected that very week. I prepared myself for within 6 to 7 days. Then I appeared for the exam. You know that for any certification exam, you are going to come across to multiple certification exams in your career. Each and every exam is obviously will give you tension. It requires lots of preparation and remembering all the concepts and then appearing for the exams. So I was given with for one ebook on the study material by Start Python. 450 pages were there in the book. I had to remember all the page content and appear for the exams. It was a 2 hours exams. I think it was more than 60 questions were there in 2 hour sessions, and I had to solve those questions. I could pass that one. Why I'm telling all this? Because you know that we are concentrating on Python. Please do the certification on Python. This certification was costing, it is an enterprise certification, because as a corporate trainer I'm bound to do the enterprise certification. So this particular certification cost, if you consider USD to INR, it was 35k, 35,000. But I know that you cannot invest that much of money, but you can do the Microsoft certification on this Python. I think it is cost is 3,500. Do some certification, please make it a point. Don't take it lightly. So you take the preparation. You see, you had a dedicated training on this Python. The SAT just completed. I had a discussion with SAT over telephone yesterday. And also in this 24 days, we'll be discussing Python. So you'll be going to have enough knowledge. Please complete your certification from Microsoft or any other good body. And you are supposed to pay a very less amount and get the certification. In this COVID period, the certification cost has become reduced. And in this COVID period, you can appear for the certification from your home. There is a most advantageous point. Need not to go to the Promatic Center where all the CCTV cameras are there. You know what I'm trying to indicate. So all the CCTV cameras were there. You are supposed to appear for the exams in that environment. So that is not going to happen. You can appear for the certification exams from your home. And so many questions will be coming. Just answer it and grab the certification. And please mention that one in your profile. Don't miss it. Okay. Now let me tell you that what I'm planning to cover today. Any questions from your side up till now? Any questions from your side, or should I continue? Please mention. Anyone, please? Okay. I'm going for the next slide. Now, objectives of the workshop. So programming is fun. Programming is an exercise for your brain. Programming is a mental sport. When the sport is held over the internet involving sport programmer as a contestant, then it is called a competitive programming. So many organizations, gigs for gigs, interview beat, courtship, and there are so many companies are there. They are conducting such coding competitions. Students used to appear for these coding competitions, and they used to get the ranking. If you have some good international rank, if you have some good national rank, obviously mention that one in your profile. So that is a competitive programming. You are supposed to solve multiple problems within a stipulated time. So 2 hours time, supposed to solve 3 to 4 problems. So at the end of the course, participants will be able to approach to solve the problems using Python, C++, or Java. Obviously here we are concentrating mainly on the Python, but intentionally, don't take it otherwise, intentionally I shall discuss some programs in C++, and I shall ask you, please convert this program to Python. Rewrite the program in Python. So I shall ask to do that one. You are supposed to do it yourself. I shall discuss some programs in C++ intentionally. Obviously, I shall explain line by line. You can ask me 1,000 number of questions. I shall explain it. Now I shall ask you, please convert this program, rewrite the program in Python and run it. Also, we can also go for Java, but Java we are not considering in our course. So employ control structures to provide optimal solutions. There's a control structures. That means what will be the algorithm to be used, what data structure to be used, what category of problem the problem is actually belonging. So these are the main skill to develop. Let me repeat once again. What is the category of the problem? The first expertise you should go category. What is the category of the problem? I'm not getting what is the category. So whether the category means say whether it is what should I say, the graph theory related problem, or dynamic programming, or greedy algorithm, whether it is a type of say hash table, whether it is a type of say union and find, whether this particular problem is falling under the topological sort, memoization, or say brain twister, recursion. This is a category. And next, the data structure to be used. Next, the data structure to be used. So it is the second skill you are supposed to develop, whether this problem can be solved using hashing, whether the problem can be solved using a binary search tree with one extra constraint that you are customizing. So there is a data structure. And next one is that how to implement. How to implement. So only implement. So only that writing the program in algorithmic form will not give you anything, will not pay you anything. You are supposed to write it in the code and run it and pass all the test cases. So handle exceptions and working with the files, and then solutions with object-oriented paradigm and data structures. So these are the topics. Obviously, we should be having the expertise at the end of the training. Okay. So in the training workshop, at first we shall discuss programming context and corresponding logical approaches. topics to be covered are listed below. So these are the topics we should be covering. We should be covering in our sessions. So introduction, time complexity, sorting, data structures, complete search, greedy algorithms, dynamic programming, amortized analysis, range queries, bit manipulation, basics of graphs, graph traversal, tree algorithms, and spanning trees, and so on. Apart from this, there are so many other chapters are there. If you ask me, said, are you going to complete full aspects of this competitive programming? I think it requires years, not months, not days, not hours. It requires years. That means the student should start such preparation from the very early days. Then only you say, yes, now I'm having the full coverage. Okay, I shall give you the rest list of topics which I haven't mentioned here. That also I shall give you. So now let me go for one by one. Any questions from your side, please? Any questions? You can unmute yourself, no restrictions. You can ask me questions. Okay, no question is there. Good. So now we are going to discuss. Yes, please ask me.
Sir, hello. Uh,
Yeah, please ask me.
Sir, how this question comes in a exam paper in coding interview now?
Yes, actually, see, it will not come in the form of question paper. You are supposed to sit in front of your computer. You will be having your login credentials, and then you are supposed to log in. The problems will be there. Say 3 to 4 problems to be solved. Say in case of some exams, we are having 4 problems in 6 hours. 4 problems are to be solved in 6 hours, and obviously they are the bombastic problems. So 6 hours will pass as a 6 minutes if you get involved and solve it. Actually, the thing is that selecting the problem, selecting the right category, or deciding the right category of the problem, deciding the right data structure for the implementation, and then going for the problem implementation through coding, these 3 phases are required. And the most challenging phase is to pass all the test cases. So sometimes it may take place that you are out of the say you are having say 1022 number of test cases. So big number of test cases. What is the meaning of test case? Test case means they're providing some set of inputs, and they're they're expecting some set of outputs. Okay. Now in your program, those input will be provided. Your program is producing the respective output. So I'm going for this output dash. Now it will be compared whether the desired output is matching with the actual output or not. So there is actual concept of a test case. Say I'm giving a very small example. There is a program which will take one number as input and find out whether it is a prime number or not. So now if the number is 24, then the outcome we are expecting is false. So that 24 will be given to your program, and then your answer is false. So that means we have passed this false. That means we have passed this particular test case. So if you provide 13, your answer should be true. That is the expected, because 13 is a prime number. The same input will be given to your program. Your answer is your true because it is a prime number. So it will be checked and it will tell that your program has passed the test case. In this way, there are 1022 number of test cases. Like might be. Now it is telling that it is your program is passing 1020 number of test cases. 2 test cases are being failed. Two failed cases. Two failed test cases. Now they are telling that for this input, we're expecting this output, but your output is this. For this input, we're expecting this output, but your output is this. So they are not matching. So these 2 test cases are failing. Now we shall have to find that what boundary condition I didn't put in my code. Why these particular test cases are being failed? So you are supposed to remodify your code, and you are supposed to make your code executed for all the 1022 number of test cases passed. So that is the main challenge. Writing a program is not a main challenge. Passing all the test cases is the main challenge. But say out of say I'm just making that one simple. Out of 10 test cases, say in your code vita, out of 10 test cases, you could pass only 6 of them. Keep that problem as it is, because that there will be getting a partial mark. But out of say 10 test cases, you are passing all the 10. That is awesome performance. You are passing say 4 test cases, keep that problem accordingly, keep it, because you are going to get the partial answer. But after the last code vita exam, the last, I think the exam was on 15th August, I think 15, 16, 17 or something. So in the last exams, it was found that out of first 50% successful submissions, I'm talking about successful submissions, the observation was that more than 60% out of the I think 50% successful submissions, more than 60% of those submissions were having the plagiarism problem. That means those submissions got rejected. Plagiarism problem. Plagiarism problem means somewhere the code is matching with the other participant code. So that is a big deal. That is a big problem, you know. So plagiarism problem in TCS is a big deal. I'm giving you one example. See, my son is actually in the final year. Actually, just have passed. Actually, mark sheet has not been reduced issued, but he knows the score. So he has done the computer science BTech from MIT University, Noida. Okay. So now the thing is that he appeared for the code vita, and now you know that in the result, it was told that the plagiarism found in his code. But he is a very honest person, and you know that he is confessing in front of me as a father. He is confessing. He told me that, see, they are telling that this particular code is getting matched with that very particular candidate, and that candidate was from Ahmedabad, and that candidate was not in any reference, not in social network or any reference with my student, with my son. So that may also happen that you are writing the pure code, but somehow the variable nomenclature, the functioning or the function nomenclature, or somehow the respective plagiarism check software is finding some match between two submissions, and they're telling that it is falling under the plagiarism check. So that submission is going to get rejected. So these sort of problems might be there. So more than 60%. So what happens, you know, that ultimately very few successful submissions remain. So that is the problem. So don't discuss, you know, that whenever you'll be appearing for the exams, you'll be going for the college lab and appearing for the exams and so on. So don't see the others programs, or you know, need not to do any copy or paste or something. So for that point, you should remain honest. Otherwise, your whole effort will be rejected. Okay, so that is the point. So now I shall request everyone, please listen to me. After having a discussion with the TPO department, training and placement department, please do the registration in the InfyTQ portal. Make it happen within 1 or 2 days time, because I require those InfyTQ portal to get access within, say, after say 3 to 4 days. So there's a point number one. If you confirm me that yes, all of you have done the registration, then I shall start that InfyTQ. That is there also Python part is there in the first 3 modules, and then we're having the, what should I say, the DBMS part in the last module. Okay, so that is a part. And please do the free registration on the lead code, at least. So search on the net lead code and do the free registration there. Okay, because I shall ask to submit problems in front of me in the class on the lead code portal, because there are so many systematic way you can submit. You can have the test cases, everything will be there. So please do the free registration on the lead code. We'll be getting, I didn't count recently, but you might be getting 1300 plus problems there. 1300 plus problems are there, and these problems are categorized in 3 levels: easy, medium, and hard. So easy problems might be seems to you hard, you know. So easy, medium, and hard. So these 3 category of problems will be there. So please do the registration on the lead code. Please write it. I can also put it in the chat box. If you ask me, I can put it in the chat box. Please be serious. Don't tell that. Okay, now one question has been raised that can you do the certification from Coursera, Udemy? Obviously you can do, but you know that Coursera is Coursera. Coursera is Coursera. So you know, whole world recognizes Coursera, and there also whenever you'll be appearing for the exam, the proctored exam will be conducted. So Coursera Coursera certifications we always mention in our profile. So in my profile also, I'm having a long profile actually. In my profile also, I mentioned what are the certifications I did from the Coursera. Okay, so that is another one is a solo learn. Also, you can do the certifications from there, and there are so many foreign universities are there. Also, you can do the certifications from there. Okay, so please do the registration on lead code. I'm written that one in the chat box. Okay, lead code and also the InfiniQ. Also the InfiniQ, lead code and InfiniQ. Okay, lead code need not to take any permission from the college. You can do it personally. Just you use your personal mail ID and you can do the registration on the lead code. We'll be solving problem from there. Obviously, we can also do the registration on Coursera and all. Okay, done. Let me know. Should I repeat anything? Any doubts, or shall I discuss them this one by one? Let me discuss them one by one. Introduction, complexity analysis, sorting, data structures, and so on. So let me go for one by one. Okay. So at first, I'm going for the introduction. At first, I'm going to go for the introduction. We're taking the class all from the home. So such a nice, that nice experience, that working from home without wasting time, going there, taking all the trouble to travel, all the trouble to travel, so you are having extra time in your hand. Please utilize that one. So going for the introduction. Now, what is the introduction? Actually, competitive programming combines two topics. Topic number one is design of the algorithm, and topic number two is the implementation of the algorithm. So design of the algorithm and implementation of the algorithm. So two skill sets we require. The design of the algorithm consists of problem solving, mathematical thinking, and skills for analyzing problems and solving them as creative way as possible. An algorithm for solving a problem must be both correct and also should be efficient, because sometimes in some test cases they used to put such a huge value for input, huge value, so 20 digits are there in the input. You are supposed to deal with that value. So now sometimes your program might be failing to cross or to pass that very test case because it is crossing the maximum execution time limit. And therefore, the code problem is often about inventing the efficient algorithm. You have written one problem. You have written one problem. The problem is taking the time of the order of n square. What is order n square? So you are having two for loops for I is equal to 1 to n. Okay. And then you are having another for loop for j is equal to 1 to n. Then whatever the line you are writing, this line is getting executed for n into n number of times. So we can say that this particular problem is having the complexity of order of n square. So now you might be finding that out of 1000 test cases, 99% test cases are passing, but some 1% test cases are failing, because for the huge value, it is actually crossing the threshold value of the time, execution time. So in that case, you are supposed to think about this algorithm, which will be executed of the order of n. So can I do it? So that is the problem. So efficient algorithm has to be developed. And the implementation of algorithms requires good programming skills. In competitive programming, the solutions are graded by testing and implemented algorithm using a set of test cases defined by the coding portal. An idea and the implementation both should be correct. So this is my introduction I want to say. Okay. Now, one question has already been asked. So let me give you the answer in a more systematic way. That means, which programming language should I select? So at the moment, the most popular programming languages used in the contests are C++, we are having C++, we're having Python, we're having Java. Okay. So now, say, say if I give one example, say just 1 or 2 years back in the Google Code Jam, if we consider the first 3000 participants, 79% participants did the coding using your C++, 16% participants did the coding using Python, and rest participants did the coding in Java and some other languages like your Smalltalk or say Go or something. So they did the coding in other languages. So this is a ratio we are finding in our code jam, Google code jam. So maybe many people think that C++ is the best choice for competitive programmer, and C++ is nearly always available in the contest systems, almost all portals other than InfiniQ. All the portals we usually have the C++, and C++ is having the main benefit is that it is having the standard template library, and that's why you're using. And one of the most important feature of C++ is that it is a compiler software, compiler. That means during execution, the exe file will be executed. But Python, on the other hand, is interpreter. So line by line translation will take place. So execution time will always get increased in case of Python rather than in case of C++. I had one example. I shall find it out on the lead code. I had one example. I did the, trust me, I implemented the same logic, same, exactly same logic in C++ and in Python. When I run the code in Python, the program was, for 1% test cases, it is not satisfying. For 1%, for 99% test cases, over, passed. One test case failed for the huge input value. I wrote the same program in C++ with the same logic. The code passed all the test cases. I think that is only due to this fact that Python was taking more time because it is interpreter software. So I had one example, unique example. I shall run the code in front of you. I shall show you the C++ code is passing all the test cases. Python code is not passing all the test cases. Okay. That's why people are more inclined towards C++. On the other hand, if the large integers are needed in Python, now you see, I'm giving more emphasis on C++, and at the same time, I'm telling that as you don't know C++, so let us concentrate on Python. You might be telling that then what is the advantage of Python? I can tell you that one. I can show you that code also. In C++, what happens? See, what is the basic difference between what is the advantage of Python over C++? Let me also discuss that one. Say you are defining a file I is equal to 10. So as this 10 can be expressed in say 4 bytes. What is the 4 bytes? That is the 32 bits. So what is the maximum number this I can hold? To the power of 32 minus 1 is the maximum number. So if you ignore minus 1, so it is almost equal to the power of 32. What is to the power of 32? To the power of 32 means to the power of 2 into to the power of 10 into to the power of 10 into to the power of 10. Okay. So what is the 2 to the power of 10? So what is the 2 to the power of 2? That is a 4. What is 2 to the power of 10? That is 1k into 1k into 1k. Good. So what is 1k into 1k? 1 mega. What is 1 mega into 1k? 1 giga. So what is the total value you are getting? You are getting 4 giga. So 4 giga is the maximum value which one integer can hold. So that's why in Python, if you write I is equal to 10, so in Python, if you write I is equal to 10, then automatically the I will be occupying 4 bytes in the computer's memory. But if you write a big value, having got say 20 digits, then automatically this I will be converted to the data type big num. Then I will be converted to the data type big num. Are you getting me? So automatically typecasting is possible in case of Python. So big num. So now it is now occupy huge amount of bits in the computer's memory against one variable. So this sort of dynamically typecasting is possible in case of Python. So you need not to bother to define the data type of variables in Python. Automatically the typecasting will be upgraded or downgraded as required. So that is the main advantage of Python here. And Python syntax is very easy to learn. Python codes are very easy to debug, and so many other advantages are always there in Python. And Python is so popular due to different libraries. We usually call them as modules to import them and use them. So that is the point which I want to mention here. Okay, so introduction I have done. Any questions from your side, please, till now? Any questions from your side? Ask me questions, please. Okay, see. Now we shall discuss the next point, that is the time complexity. we shall discuss the next point, that is the time complexity. Now, what is the time complexity actually? Time complexity is nothing but the time required to execute the program for a certain input set. For a certain input set. The efficiency of algorithm is important in competitive programming, and that is mandatory. Usually, it is easy to design an algorithm that solves the problem slowly, but the real challenge is to invent a fast or faster algorithm. That is a real challenge for us. And if the algorithm is too slow, it will get only partial points or no points at all, as you can pass partial test cases or might not be any test cases also. So the time complexity of an algorithm estimates how much the time the algorithm will be using or will be requiring for a certain input. So that will be decided by this time complexity. So the idea is to represent the efficiency of a function whose parameter is the size of the input. So depending upon that, we shall be deciding the time complexity. By calculating the time complexity, we can find out whether the algorithm is fast enough without being implemented. I'm not getting. So after writing the algorithm in our paper and pencil, if I can calculate the time complexity, we can say that this is a very slow program. But if I can refine it, then we can have the time complexity of say n log of n. Yes, it is a better solution. So before implementing it, if you do the time complexity calculations, and if you find that my updated version is requiring the lesser time, obviously I'm going to get the better solution. So that I've discussed under the section time complexity. You can ask me questions, any doubts. If you want to have some more explanation, if you require from my end, you can tell me. Okay, good. Okay, now I shall go for my next topic. Say I'm going for the shorting. Next topic I want to discuss is shorting. Now, what is a shorting? So we know that shorting is a very fundamental algorithm design problem, and many efficient algorithm can be used for the shorting as a subroutine, and it is often easier to process it if the data elements are in the shorted order. Say some problems are there where it is being told that frequency of occurrence of each number in the set of numbers. So if we can do the shorting, then consecutive numbers, then the equal numbers will become consecutive. So in that cases, to give the answer for those queries, for those problems, the frequency of occurrence of each number, each distinct number in the set of numbers, we can easily solve it after getting the problem shorted. And there are many algorithms for shorting, and they are also good examples of how to apply different algorithm design techniques. There are multiple different shorting technique algorithms are available. Before coming to these classes, you should have a good revision of your data structure semester paper. Okay, you cannot keep that one weak until and unless you make that one strong in the class when we shall discuss some complicated problems. There are so many problems are there. It is a brain twister type of thing. So I can show that how the logic can be grabbed, how to get it implemented. Even if some test cases are failing, then how to tackle those test cases and get it solved. So a single problem might be taking 1 day at your end. 1 day, one full day, you are just trying to pass your all the test cases. But what happens, see, in our different programming languages, we're having the short functions or methods are available. So already the short functions and short methods are available, using which you can easily do the shorting. Need not to write the algorithm explicitly. Say in case of Python, we're having the short function, SORT. We're having the short function. We're having a method. We're having a function called assorted. So these functions and do you know what is the difference between function and method? Anyone in my class, can you please tell me what is the difference between function and a method? Anyone, please? What is the difference between function and a method? Can anyone tell me? Just give examples in Python. What is the difference between function and a method? Anyone in my class? Please try at least.
Sir,
Please tell me.
sir, we can assign the value of a method, but we can't be assign a value by a function.
Okay, your answer is not right, but I should appreciate that you have tried. Anyone, please? Anyone? What is the difference between function and a method? This is a very, very
Sir, another
difficult question. So
point.
please
Sir,
tell me. Tell me.
in object orientation, so some of the programming languages which doesn't really support the function. Okay, but Python support both of this, like function and object orientation concept. But in case of C programming language, so C programming doesn't have any concept of any object orientation. So thus we can define function in C programming, or you can say procedural programming language.
Okay. Actually, you see, the concept is not clear. So let me discuss this one from my end. Okay. See, what is the difference between function and a method? See, say, okay, all you know is Python. So let me give you the example of Python. Say I'm writing one string. Say my str. Say I'm writing my str. Str is equal to say computer. My str is equal to computer. What I'm writing. Okay. Now, if you print my str, if you print my str, so if I write print, I can also show it on the editor also. If I write print my str, okay, let me show it on the screen. Say I'm writing here my str is equal to say computer. Okay, done. Good. If I print my str, it will print computer. If you go for type of my str, it will print class str. Class str. So print my str is computer. Okay, done. Type of my str, it is telling that this my str is nothing but str class object. So I think you had a session with other faculty on this Python. So you know the class. So this str is a class in Python, which is actually denoting the string class. Remember, Python is a purely object-oriented programming language. Python is purely object-oriented programming language. We had our Java in our semester. So we might have used Java 1.6, 1.8. We know that Java is object-oriented. But trust me, believe me, Java was not object-oriented up to 1.8. Why? Why Java is not purely one object-oriented programming language? Because in case of Java, we had the class concept. Yes, we had the class concept. But also we had the primitive data type concept. We had the concept of int, char, long, double. So I'm not talking about double with D capital. I'm talking about double with D in the lowercase. I'm not talking about long with L capital because that is a wrapper class. I'm talking about long with the L in the lowercase. So these particular data types were the primitive data types. What is the meaning of primitive? Primitive means the data type which is pre-known to the compiler is known as primitive data type. So these particular functions, what should I say, data types are the primitive data types. But in case of purely object-oriented programming language, there should not be any concept of primitive data types. Everything should be class object. So Java was not object-oriented programming up to Java 1.8. But the first object-oriented programming language came in the market was Scala. The first language came in the market was Scala. I know Scala. I have done some programming, coding, and practices with Scala. So Scala is an object-oriented programming language. That's the first language came in the market because everything was there, was a class objects. There is no concept of primitive data type. Then Python become the popular Python. So this Python is the object-oriented language. Why object-oriented language? Because everything in Python is nothing but object of a class. So now I've written this. Yes, I've written this. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm writing this one as print. len of my str, that is, it will calculate the length and print my str dot upper, my str dot upper. So if you run this one, it is telling 8 and it is converting this my str to the uppercase. Here lies the difference between function and method. In case of method, it will be called as object name dot operator. In case of method, it will be called as object name. This is an object under the class str. Dot operator. What is the meaning of the dot operator? What is the meaning of the dot operator? Is dot an operator? Yes, it is operator. What operator? What is the name of this operator? It is known as membership operator. So this my str dot upper. So this upper method is defined in str. So as this is the object under the, it is object under the str class. So this object name dot class method can be used. Now you might be asking me, sir, can you prove that this upper is a method of this class str? Yes, I can prove. How? Just write this one, help str, run it. So if you write help str, so here all the methods are there, all the methods are there. Please have patience. A B C D, it is going to A B C D E F, I J I is coming, I J K L M N O P Q R S T U. So it will take a long time. Q R, now it is coming to R, then S, Q R S T. Now upper will come. Yes, upper has come. Now the upper has come. So this is upper. This is upper. So upper is nothing but one member function in the class str, in the class str. So that's why my str is the str class object. So that's why you can call it. So it is a method, but it is a function. It is a method, but it is a function. So there is a difference between method and a function. In case of function, you are not writing something dot. You are directly accessing this one. So there is a lane of this MyStr. So it is a function, but it is a method. So we can say that a class consists of methods and member variables. Methods and member variables. So member variables can be also called as messages. So a class consists of methods and messages. We should not tell a class consists of functions and messages. We should not tell that one. Yes, we can say that we are having the member function. The member function is nothing but a method actually. So I think I have cleared the concept. So in our earlier days, we had the concept of IDE. We had the concept of IDE. What is the meaning of IDE? IDE means integrated development environment. Nowadays, we don't call IDE. We call it as IDLE. We call it as IDLE, integrated development learning environment. Why this term learning has come for this? Learning has come for this. Why? Because here you can say that you can also learn. You can also learn here. So that's why it's called integrated development learning environment. And say if I go for say print my str, if you go for print, oh somehow it is not coming. Oh, somehow my control space is not working here. uh, Actually it gives you all the list of all the methods. It gives you, it is not coming, somehow it is not coming. So all the list of all the methods will be there. So that's why it is helping us for the learning also. So that's why it is called, that ideally. Okay, leave it. So I think I have cleared the concept of method and functions. Just see, I'm writing one. Say I'm writing one function. Say def my function colon print hello. Okay, done. So def my function print hello. So now we can call it very simple. Yes, you can call it. Now, what is happening? Say if you write print type of, if you go for type of my function, see this particular my function is having the type none type. Okay, now just wait. My function. Wait, please. Yes, that I want to mention. So it is the function class object. So my function is function class object. Try to get me, please. Everybody, there is nothing other than class object in Python. So everything is class object. So that's why Python is purely object oriented programming language. See, say L1 is equal to, okay, done, good. So we are having some set of values. Now print L1, print L1, print type of L1. So it has become the least class object automatically. So that's why it is called implicit object. See, I didn't take your Python classes. Some other good teacher has taken your Python classes. So if you find that I'm discussing something new and you are not getting it, please ask me to repeat. Okay, please ask me to repeat. So this is known as implicit object. So you're not defining any object here, but whenever you are writing this one within this square brackets, multiple values separated by commas, automatically the object is getting created under the class list. So if you make this one first bracket, so automatically it will create object under the class tuple. It will create object under the class tuple. So that's why it is called implicit object. So these are the advantages of Python we are having here. This my function is function class object. Okay, done. Can anyone tell me when I was writing this one, what happened? Can anyone explain what happened? None type or something. What happened? Can anyone explain this one? When I included these brackets, one extra hello came, and then class none type came. But whenever I'm writing this one, without these brackets, it is coming like this. Sorry, don't mind. Without these brackets, it is coming like this. Can anyone tell me, please? Any idea? Very basic concept I'm asking.
Hello. So
Please.
so whatever have you written down the printf hello. So first it print in the output when it came as the output. Okay. So and another statement printf, just you have called this function. So that's why which function has defined under the print. So now so this first my function you have just called this in the line number 5. Okay.
Hmm.
Through this actually another hello came in the output.
No, no. I'm telling
Sir,
each and every student. Yeah, please answer
sir,
me.
my function, the
Tell me
first hello is
tell me
for
the line number. Tell
my
me the line number.
the line number 3, my
Line
function.
number 3. Yes, good.
First hello is coming from that
Perfect.
because
Done. It's okay. Next one. Tell me
okay.
this one.
Next, the line number 4. Here we have given that print type of my function. So at first the function is called. So hello has came, and then the type of my function, that is non type.
If you say in that way, you cannot explain this one. You cannot explain this one. Okay.
Okay,
Now
sir.
let me explain. You have tried. Good enough. You have tried. Let me explain. Let me give you the explanation. See, first one, only the calling of the function. So hello came. Okay, good. Next one, you are calling this function. That's why hello came. Now the return type of this my function after execution was none. So type of the return type of this is none type. Here you are telling that what is my function. It is telling that it is a function class object. Say, if I run here, if I write here return 1, if I write say return 100, then just look at the outputs. So now here you can see that it is hello is getting printed because my function has got executed. Its return type is class int. But whenever you are just making that one commented, its return type is none type. And the last one is that my function is function class object. So I think you got my point. So these are the conceptions you should remain very much clear. Okay, done. Good. Any questions from your end? Any questions from your end? You can ask me. I'm here to answer all your queries. Okay, done. Next one. See, here we are having this. So in the so I think we have discussed up to shorting. Now we are going to discuss the data structures. So at 10:30 we'll be taking a 10 minutes break. Okay, at 10:30, because it is a 3 hour sessions. We cannot continue in a stretch. So we shall be going taking a 10 minutes break at 10:30. For each and every session, we'll be taking a break in the middle, one break. But if you get exhausted, that will be these classes will not be so easy in the upcoming classes. We're going to discuss so many tricky problems, and brainstorming will be there. So if you take double break also, you can take in those days. Okay, see, now coming to this. So now going for the next topic, that is about data structures. So a data structure, what is a data structure? We know the definition. A data structure is a way to store data in the memory of a computer for successful storing and retrieval of information. And it is important to choose an appropriate data structure for a problems. And that's why, because each data structure has got its own advantages and disadvantages. My humble request to you all, please do the good revision over the data structure semester paper. Because if you don't know what is AVL tree, if you don't know what is tri structure, if you don't know what is red black tree, if you don't know what is the difference between B tree and B plus tree, then obviously your thinking process will have the blockage. Your thinking process will have the blockage. You cannot see through, you will not have any insight of the problem. So that's why please revise the data structure, not only stack and queue and linked list, which you know very well, stack, queue and linked list, but also go for, say, double-ended queue, also go for header linked list, header circular linked list, and then two-way linked list, and then go for red black tree, then go for AVL tree, go for your heap tree, go for your say your B tree, B plus tree. So all those concepts, okay, complete binary tree, what is the difference between this and that, what are the terminologies? Please have a good quick revision on data structure. Okay, please make it a point. So now the thing is that the crucial question is that which operations are efficient in choosing the data structure in our problems. So it is a good idea to use the standard library available in the programming languages, and whenever possible, and use it, but because it saves lots of your time. So we are having the inbuilt data structures in our programming languages. We can use that one. Okay, so that you can do it. Next point. I want to share one thing with you. You might not be agreeing with me, but I'm telling this one from my experience. My experience is that if you go on using multiple library functions in your program to make it easier, the code size will be reduced, because you are not writing code, you are just calling the pre-written code available in the libraries. My opinion, my experience is that your program execution time will be elongated, because you know that you cannot go into your library function and change the logic of the library function. So that's why sometimes your program execution time complexity may be increased. So my opinion is that if you see that using library functions your test cases are not being passed due to the time complexity, then replace some of the library functions and write your own user defined functions in a program and call it. I'm telling this one from my very experience. Okay, sometimes it may take place. Did you get my point, whatever I'm trying to say? Sometimes over usage of these library functions may cause your program to take longer time for execution and crossing the threshold limit and failing on some of the test cases. But if you write your user defined library functions in those cases, then obviously that will reduce the time complexity, and that will be betterment for your program. But if you see that even if usage of the library functions your program is passing through all the test cases, need not to bother. Pass it means you got the credit. So now we shall be discussing the complete search. So now before going for the complete search, let us take, I think it is almost 10:30, so let us take a quick break for 10 minutes. Okay, so please come back, because I shall be starting my class, because you know that here I'm not going to wait for anyone. So please come within 10 minutes, and then we shall start with the rest part of the discussions. How was the class? How were feeling the classes? Classes speed is okay, or my explanation is not up to the understanding level? How's the class is going? Is the class okay?
Yes, sir, it's
Yes,
okay.
sir, it's good.
Okay, good. So let us learn jointly. Okay, so
This conference is no longer being recorded.
I hope that all of you have joined. So I'm going to start my class. I shall start with the topic that is a complete search. Okay, complete search, greedy algorithm, dynamic programming. So let me complete it today, and then we shall go for the coding. Okay, tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards, we'll be going for the coding. I hope that everyone is on the seat listening to me.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now we are discussing the complete search. Okay, what is the complete search? So we have discussed the data structures. Now discussing complete search. Okay, thank you. Complete search is a general method that can be used to solve almost any algorithm problem. And this idea is to generate all possible solutions of the problem using brute force method. Now, what is brute force? So that is a very important question in this class. What is a brute force algorithm? So let me write the name here. Brute force. That means here you are trying to find out all possible solutions of the problem. So that is a brute force, and that is actually falling under the category of complete search. So here we'll be having the brute force and then select the best solution or the count the number of solutions depending on the problem type. Complete search is a good technique, and if there is enough time to do though all the solutions, because the search is usually easy to implement, brute force is usually easy to implement, and it always gives the correct answer. If complete search is becoming too slow, not passing all the test cases, considering the time complexities, then other techniques such as the greedy algorithm or dynamic programming may be needed. So that is the part of this complete search. So complete search means here we are exhausting all the possible solutions against the problem, and we are trying to find out all possible solutions using the brute force method. So how to do it, I'm just going to tell you. See, very simple problem I'm taking. Let us suppose there is one main string. Okay, so there is one main string. This is my main string. It is having, say, 8 characters. So let us suppose we are having 8 characters here. I'm considering the characters at the index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are 8 characters. Here I've considered the first index is 1. But you know that Python is a zero-based language. Python is a zero-based language. That means its base index will be starting from 0. R script is one based language, but Python is a zero based language. C, C++, Java, Kotlin. So all of them are zero based language. But if you consider your R programming, say in case of .NET also, you can have considered this one based language because you can start the index from 1. So here we are having this. So len, so n is equal to len of main string. So n is equal to 8. Okay. Now, here we are having a substring. We are finding that whether this substring is present in the main string or not. Whether this substring is present in the main string or not. So there is my substring. So here this substring is having the index 1, 2, 3. So if you consider substring, so the length is m, len of substring, and here it is 3. So at first I shall compare this 1 with this 1, and then this 2 with this 2, and then this 3 with this 3. In this way I shall do the comparison. But so if I get the pattern here, then that is a good successful searching. But if I don't get the pattern here in the first 3 indices, then the substring will be shifted like this. Then the substring will be shifted like this. So this 1, 2, 3. So this position number 1 will be compared with the position number 2 here, content. position number 3 content in the main string will be compared with the position number 2 content in the substring. In this way, the comparison will be done. So if in this way, if we carry on, that means if you go on shifting my substring in this way, at last the substring can be placed here. The substring can be placed here. So this is my 1, 2, 3. This is my last place. So what will happen? The position number 6 character in the main string will be compared with the position number 1 character in the substring. Position number 7 character in the main string will be compared with the character at the index 2 at the substring, and similarly for 8 and 3. So in this way, the substring searching will be done. So it is actually, we are going for all possible combinations to find the substring in the main string. So it is called brute force algorithm. So what is the total time complexity here? So you can find that this substring can be placed at index number 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. After that, I cannot go for further shifting because we are remaining with only the 2 characters, but here we are having 3 characters, so no perfect match can take place. So how to get this 6? How to get this 6 from 8 and 3? How to get the 6 from 8 and 3? How to get 6? So 6 is nothing but 8 minus 3 plus 1. So there is a way to get the 6 here. So 8 minus 3, 5 plus 1 is this. So what will be the loop here? So for I is equal to 1 to 8 minus 3 plus 1. So 8 minus 3 plus 1. And then for j is equal to 1 to m, then you are doing the comparison and getting the job done. We're doing the comparison and getting the job done. So in this way, you can find that how the things are taking shape. So what is the total loop here? How many times a loop is getting executed? So we can do the shifting for n minus m plus 1 times, and for each and every time we can do the respective calculation matching for m number of characters in maximum. So this is the total complexity of this program. So this is the total complexity of this program. So in this way, you can say that it is of the order of nm. You can say that it is of the order of nm. So in this way, this is known as brute force algorithm. So this brute force algorithm is falling under the category of complete search. You are finding all possible combinations of searching. But if you find that it is not giving you that much of scope to pass all the test cases, your test case is not passing for the larger value for this n and m, then obviously you should find out algorithm which is taking lesser time compared to this brute force time algorithm. So in those cases, you must be taking some other idea. I think you are getting my point, whatever I'm trying to say. So this is a pattern matching. In the data structure book, it is written that so this brute force pattern matching algorithm will be using at first. So it requires a complexity of the order of n into m. But if it does not work, then we are having the Knuth Morris Patterson algorithm. So Knuth Morris Patterson algorithm, KMP algorithm, so which will do this pattern searching in the main string with a lesser time. So there is a Knuth Morris Patterson algorithm. So that will have the time complexity lesser compared to the brute force algorithm. Okay, so I think my point is clear to all of you. You can ask me questions, please. Anyone? Any questions up to this limit can ask me. Okay, done. Proceeding for the next. Okay. Now we shall go for the greedy algorithm. Very, very, very important topic. So this greedy algorithm and this dynamic programming will be the most important topic in this list. Okay, now let me tell you that what are the different types of algorithms are possible. So if you go on classify, then we're having I think 7 types of algorithms are there. Let me write them. So you can go for say simple recursive, types of algorithms. Second one, I can go for say backtracking. Okay. Third one, I can go for say divide and conquer. Please take a class note, please. Okay. So fourth one is my dynamic programming. Fifth one, I can consider as greedy algorithm, which I'm going to discuss right now. Next, sixth one, I can go for say branch and bound. Sometimes you can find that some algorithms where greedy algorithm and dynamic programming both have been applied. In some algorithms, the greedy and recursive algorithm both have been applied. So it is not like that one algorithm will be only of one category. It can have the multiple categories can get mix and match there. So now next one, seventh one, you can go for brute force. So for brute force we have just discussed. Brute force, and last one we can say randomized. So these are the 8 different categories are there. These are the types of algorithms. 8 different categories. Simple, recursive. What is recursion? Recursion means where a recursive function has got two properties. A recursive function has got two properties. Please prepare yourself for the technical round. A recursive function has got two properties. Property number one, it must have some base case. Base case. So what is the meaning of the term base case? Base case means for certain inputs, outputs are known to us. That is known as base case. For certain inputs, outputs are known to us. So that is known as base case. So that is the first property. Second property is that a recursive function should have a capability to call itself directly or indirectly. Direct calling means the calling instruction will be written within the function only. But indirect means the function will be calling another function, but that function in turn will call the mother one. So that is known as indirect recursion. Function 1 is calling function 2 and function 2 is calling function 1. So that is known as indirect recursion. So that is the two properties are there for a recursive algorithm. Next one is backtracking. Very famous problem falling under this backtracking. That is your n queens problem. What is the n queens problem? In a particular chessboard, what is n queens problem? Backtracking. I'm talking about this backtracking. So in a particular chessboard, I'm not considering 8 by 8 matrix. I'm just considering say 4 by 4 matrix, 4 by 4 square matrix. So here I shall be placing my queens in such a way that no two queens will be on the same row, same column, and same diagonal. So that is my n queens problem. It is known as n queens problem. So let it be 1, 2, 3, 4. Column index number, row index number is 1, 2, 3, 4. So first queen can be placed here. Second queen cannot be placed because they are becoming in the same column. Here cannot be placed because they are becoming the same diagonal. So second queen can be placed here, but the third queen cannot be placed, cannot be placed, cannot be placed, cannot be placed. Then I shall go to the previous level. Then I shall check whether the second queen was having some option to get placed in some other places or not. So we are finding that it is having one option to get placed here. It is having one option to get placed here. So the third queen cannot be placed here because they are falling in the same column. Can be placed here, cannot be placed here, cannot be placed here. Fourth queen cannot be placed here, cannot be placed here, cannot be placed here, cannot be placed here. Then I shall go to my third queen to ask whether it is having any space to any place to get placed. No, it cannot get placed here. So here the second queen was having no option. So I shall come back to my first queen and then I shall ask the first queen to go for the next available position. So what I shall do, the first queen will be placed here. Second queen cannot be placed, cannot be placed, cannot be placed, can be placed because they are falling in the same diagonal. The third queen can be placed here. Third queen can be placed here. Fourth queen cannot be placed, cannot be placed because they are in the same column and same diagonal, but the third, fourth queen can be placed here. So here we are getting one solution. Here we are getting one solution. So these sort of solutions are falling under this backtracking category. So can you remember one thing if I tell you how can you get a whether a one implementation is under the backtracking algorithm category or not? I'm just telling you the clue. Whenever you find recursion within iteration, recursion within iteration, do you know what is iteration? Iteration means looping, repetitive work. So that is known as iteration. So whenever you find recursion within iteration in your algorithm, in your implementation, you can guess that this implementation is falling under the backtracking algorithm. Recursion within iteration will indicate that this particular implementation is under the backtracking algorithm. Please try to get my point. So next we are having this divide and conquer. So in case of divide and conquer, we shall divide the problem into subdomain and then we shall solve them, and then we shall merge solved sub problems to get the solution of the mother problem, and that is known as my uh, divide and conquer. We'll be dividing our problem into subdomains and then we shall solve them, and then we shall merge those solved problems to get the final solution of the problem. So that is a divide and conquer. Binary search is a good example of divide and conquer, and also you can go for say heap shot. You can also consider that one as divide and conquer algorithm category. Next one, I can discuss the dynamic programming. So that is about to come. So right now I'm not discussing. So this is a greedy algorithm. So that I'm not discussing. It is already there. Next category is our branch and bound. Branch and bound. So there is a next category of problem. So from a particular game board position, try to get me please. From a particular game board position, my next turn I can give in 5 different ways. Everyone please watch. My from the my current board position, say I'm playing say 15 puzzle problem, I'm playing say chess, say I'm playing say tic-tac-toe. So from my current board position I can give the next turn in 5 different ways. So what I shall do, I shall find out that which is that very board position, target board position after giving the turn, after setting my new position for my coins. Please try to get me please. So what will happen if I find that this is the board position from where my winning condition is being seen nearer, then I shall select that one and I shall discard the other turns possible. So in this way, you are just going on branching that very board position again. What will be the your next turn possible, and other board positions you can easily you can easily discard them. So this is known as branch and bound. So you are branching on those possible cases which is more likely to have our target goal in near future within a very few number of turns, and for the other board positions I shall discard them, and that is known as branch and bound. If you ask me, I can give you some examples, but in one class not possible to discuss everything because actually it is nothing but 100 marks semester paper, that is analysis of algorithm. Brute force we have discussed already, and last one is a randomized algorithm. In case of randomized algorithm, we shall be taking a random number for the calculation and for the processing. So in case of randomized algorithm, we'll be taking some random number in our calculations for the processing and to get the solution of the problem. So that is my randomized algorithm. So in this way, we're having 8 different kinds of algorithms are there. So these algorithms must be well known to you. So data structure and analysis of algorithm, these 2 semester paper background is very much required for competitive coding. Next, we're going for greedy algorithm. Okay, let me discuss the greedy algorithm at first. Any questions from your end? Anyone can ask me questions, please. My board work is there. If you require, you can ask me. I can re-explain. I can give you some more examples.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir. So can you
Please
give
answer.
example on branch and bound algorithm?
Why not? Why not? I can give you that example. Okay, just wait, please. Good. See. Okay, say I'm having uh, okay. So now let us suppose it is my current board position in the tic-tac-toe game. Okay. Say I'm the player who is going to give the knot. So another player will be giving the cross. Okay. So I'm this player. Okay. My next turn will be this one. So now see where I can place my next turn. Uh okay. Now see. So what are the board positions I can have? My next turn. So it may take some time. Please bear with the delay. So I can have this one here. Then so how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. Okay. Let me draw quickly. 5. So already I'm having this, and this. So I can put it here. Next one. So I shall put this one, this one, and this one. I can put it here. Okay, my next board position. Okay, 0 cross 0 cross. Perfect. What is the next board position? This one I can give this turn, and my last turn can be like this. Please make the class interactive. Huh? Please keep on asking me. Otherwise, what will happen? I cannot see you. I don't know what you are doing at your end. If you ask me, that means you are thinking with me. You are in the class participating. See, this is a fifth board position. Now, from which board position I can have my more possibility to win the match? So I want to find out this one. See, so in this board position, see in which way I can win. Blocked, blocked, blocked. Now, this is the way I can win. So see, one, what I'm trying to say is that, okay, how many ways are there to win here? How many ways are there to win? So, okay, see, it is blocked by cross. It is blocked by cross. One way, blocked. Two ways, blocked. Three ways, four ways. So in four ways, I can win the match. There is a possibility because there are four. See, it is blocked, it is blocked, it is open, one. It is blocked, it is open, it is blocked. Because cross is there, I cannot win in this way. So I'm getting here only one, so two, and then it is open. So how could I get four here? Let me check. One, blocked, this is blocked. This is one way. It is blocked, it is open, it is blocked. Two ways. Then this is a one. So I should be, I think it is with three, isn't it? Please help me. In
Yes,
how
there
many
should be
ways?
three.
It should be three. Yes, I did something wrong here. Okay,
Sure.
so it should be. Thank you. So it should be three ways I can win. Next one, this one, blocked, blocked, open. One, two, three. So here you see blocked, blocked. One, two, okay, three. Actually, in all cases, I'll be getting three only, I think. Yes. In all cases, I'll be getting three only because I'm not considering the other one. Okay, now see how the cross can win here. How the cross can win. So cross here, you see, cannot, 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 cannot. So cross cannot, cross cannot, cross. One, two, blocked, blocked. Cross. One, two. Sorry, it cannot be. It cannot be. It cannot be. So 1, 2. This one, see, this cross can win here, cross can win, cross cannot, cross cannot, cross cannot, cross 1, cross 2. See,
So
cross
first one
cannot.
should be 3 minus 2.
3 minus 2. Really, let me check. 1, 1. Okay, 1 is there and 2 is there. Yes, 3 minus 2. So I think I've taken an example which is not matching actually. Actually, if the values will be varying, so I should take that very one option to branch and other options should be bounded. Because that is the most promising one. The knot can win more probable than the cross. So here what is happening? It is blocked, blocked. It is my blocked. It is blocked, it is blocked, it is blocked. It is blocked. It is open. So 1. It is 1. So it will be 2. So according to this interpretation, if I'm doing the correct calculations, according to this interpretation, it is the most promising one. It is the most promising one because here the knot will have the that better chance to win. So only it will be branched and rest will be bound. Rest will be bound. So this is a branch and bound algorithm. So you are not exploring all the possible both conditions because that will become a huge tree. The tree size will be huge. Keeping that one in the matrix, in the memory, will be taking a huge time. It is only the tic-tac-toe problem. Just consider the chess problem. Here we are having 3 by 3 matrix. In the chess, we are having 8 by 8 matrix, and the coins are different types of coins are there. Here we are having only 2 types of coins. One is the cross, another one is the dot or not. Okay. So having the 2 types of coins, but there we'll be having so many different types of coins and with 2 different colors. So that's why this is the most promising one. So it should be branched and rest will be bound. So that is a branch and bound algorithm. Okay, done. I hope that you could understand that how we can do. This problem will be a little bit tougher in case of 15 puzzle problem. 15 puzzle problem means we'll be having 15 tiles numbered with 1 to 15 and one empty spot is there. So you are supposed to shift those tiles in such a way that you can go to a desired pattern. So that is known as 15 puzzle problem. Okay, so for game theory you can easily apply this. So closing this one, I hope that you could understand. So now we're going to discuss the greedy algorithm. So a greedy algorithm contrasts a solution, contrasts a solution to the problem by always making a choice that looks the best now. And the greedy algorithm never takes, how should I say, back its choices but directly contracts the final solution. See, so now it will find out the final solution of the problem and need not to go for any backtracking or something. So that is the main point in our greedy algorithm. Okay, another point is that the difficulty of designing the greedy algorithm is to find a greedy strategy that always produces an optimal solution to the problem. So in our greedy algorithm, let me come to my main issues so that you can understand. If I discuss only the definitions, see, we're having mainly in the greedy algorithm, we're mainly having 4 types of functions. One is the selection function. We're having the selection function. Next one, we're going to have, say, optimality check function, also known as optimal function. Next one, feasibility check function, and last one is the objective function. So in our greedy algorithm, we're having these 4 different functions are there. Selection, selection function, optimality check function, feasibility check function, and objective function. So four function types are there. What is that? In greedy algorithm, at first we are having a set of all candidates, say n1, n2. Let they be the nodes of a graph, n3, n4, say n5, n6, say n7, n8. We're having, say, these are the set of nodes. So they also we known as we call it as set of candidates. So now we're having one empty set. Empty set. The empty set may be there, or due to the demand of the algorithm, one seed value is there. One seed. Let it be, say, n4. It is not mandatory that n1 will be always the seed. Say one seed value, seed is WD, seed. One seed element is there in the outcome set. Now the selection function will select which is the most promising candidate to be considered at this present moment. So let it be, say, n6. So selection function has done. Again, the selection function is checking which is the most promising candidate to be selected from the set of candidates which had not been selected earlier. So let it be, say, n2. In this way, the multiple candidates are getting selected there. So this is known as the greedy algorithm type. What is the selection function? Selection function is a function which you select that which is the most promising candidate at this present moment from the unselected candidate set to be selected right now. So that is a selection function. Optimality check. Optimality check will always check whether the solution, whatever the greedy algorithm is giving, whether the solution is optimal or not. What is the meaning of optimal? I want to make the cost minimum. I want to make the flow maximum. So there is an optimality check. Whether really I'm getting a path with the minimum least cost, really I'm getting a flow map with a maximum flow. So there is an optimality check. What is the meaning of the term feasibility check? Whatever the candidates I'm selecting, really are they capable enough to lead to the objective of the algorithm? So that is my feasibility. Is it feasible that through these candidates I can reach to the objective? An objective function will check whether you have got the solution or not. If you have got the solution, then it will just turn off the process. So these are the four functions are there. Remember, these functions are not explicitly available in the greedy algorithm. These are the functions. I'm not talking about C++ functions. I'm talking about these are the four different activities are there. I'm talking this function regarding that aspect, not the C or Java functions, library functions. I'm talking about that aspect, that those activities are there. How many activities are there? How many functions are there? Four. What is the first function? Selection function. What does it do? It will select the most promising candidate from the unselected set of candidates, and it will be get included in the selected set. So there's a selection function. Okay. Optimality function. Are you going to get the minimum cost, maximum flow? Are you going to get that optimal solution through these selected candidates? And feasibility check, it will really check whether through these candidates, is it reachable? Is it reachable to the actual solution? An objective function will check whether my solution has reached to the objective or not. So that is the way in which we can do it. So that is my objective function. So four functions will be working under this greedy algorithm. And always remember, the you can ask me that where you can use the greedy algorithm. Yes, very interesting question. Where should I use this greedy algorithm? My answer is that it has got, whenever you find that in two what should I say, a problem must comprise of two components, and for a greedy algorithm to work in that very problem. So a problem must be consisting of two components where this greedy algorithm can be applied. Component number one, it has got optimal substructures, and the optimal solution for the problem contains optimal solution of the sub problems. That means I shall be dividing my problem into sub problems, and if you can generate the what should I say, feasible solutions for the sub problems, in that case we can apply this greedy algorithm. If I'm not getting clear to you, see, this is my set of all candidates, and this is a set of my subset of my candidates. So sometimes it may take place that we're having one set with n1 n2. Please try to get me, please. We're having We're having another set, say n3 and 4, n3 and 5, not always consecutive. But having another set, say n5, n4, n7 in this way. Now these are the sub problems. Now we can merge these two. We can have this one. You usually do this one in the Kruskal's algorithm. I don't know whether you can recall the Kruskal's algorithm or not in the graph theory. So see, we are merging this problem. So whenever a problem can be divided into sub problems for the solutions, and then the sub problems will be merged to get the bigger solution of the sub problem. So there this greedy algorithm can be used, and it must be having a greedy property. That means we can make a choice that seems the best now and solve the remaining sub problems later, and still you can reach to the optimal solution. So whatever the current solutions we are finding that this is the most optimum one. Now carry on with the process. Ultimately, you can get the final solution of the problem. So what kind of problems will be falling under this greedy? What kind of problems will be falling under this greedy? So from the looking at the problem, you can directly say it is a greedy algorithm problem. I'm giving you some categories. The first one is, say, a scheduling problem. Is scheduling problem. What is the scheduling problem? In our InfiniQ, one very famous problem which very frequently come, and also for other competitive exams also. That means there are, say, n number of trains are there. T1, T2 train. These are the trains. T1, T2, T3, up to n number of trains are there. Try to get my point, please. Each and every train has got the arrival time and the departure time. Arrival time and departure time are given for all the trains. At different time, they can arrive and they can depart. Say at the terminal station from where the train is to start their journey. So we're having the arrival time and departure time for all the trains. Okay, done? Good. Now, what is the problem? Problem is that it is being asked that what will be the minimum number of platforms, what will be the minimum number of platforms are required so that no train can find itself in a queue. Got my point? It is arriving, it is departing, it is arriving, departing. So now some trains are having the overlapping schedule for arrival and departure. Some trains are not having the overlapping schedule. So those trains which are having the overlapping schedule, that means they require parallel platforms to port, to land. So that's why there's the platforms. How many minimum number of platforms required so that you can accommodate all the trains? So for such scheduling problem, you can go for greedy algorithms. Ask me please any kind of queries. Ask me please. Next one, we can go for, say, activity selection. Activity selection problem. Also, it is known as tasks with deadlines. It is known as activity selection, tasks with deadline. These are the very, what should I say, common classical prototypes of these problems. What is the meaning of these tasks with deadline? Say each and every, say we are having, say, 5 tasks. I'm making this one simple. You can have n number of tasks also. Say we are having 5 tasks are there. Okay, T4 and T5. We're having 5 tasks. So there is a single human being, only one person. Okay, one person is there. This task should be done within 3 days of time, 2 days of time, 1 days of time, 5 days of time, and 3 days of time. Each and every task has got a duration of 1 day. Please try to get my point. Each and every task has got a duration of, say, 1 day. I'm making this one, say, 2 days. Each and every task has got a duration of 1 day. So within the first 3 days, any day the task can be done. Within the first 2 days, any day that task can be done. Only within the first day, the task has to be done, and so on. Now, here we're having the value for the task. We're having the value for the task. Now, tell me, one person can do one task at a time for a whole day. Okay, no parallel tasks can be done. So now tell me which tasks are to be done on which day to have the maximum value of the tasks getting completed. So there is an activity selection problem. This is known as activity selection problem, tasks with a deadline. So these sort of problems are falling under the greedy algorithms. Got my point? What I'm trying to say, please? Got my point? So these are the tasks are to be done. These are the tasks are to be done. So one is a scheduling problem, minimum number of platforms possible so that no train can find itself in a queue. An activity selection problem, that means a task with a deadline. One person can do one task at a time in a single day. So different tasks are given. Each task will take one day for its completion, but it has got a deadline of say multiple days, and values are given. So which task has to be done on which day so that the person can earn the maximum value out of the completed tasks. Okay, so that's kind of problem. Another kind of problem I can tell you, another kind of problem that may fall under the greedy algorithms. What is that? uh, there's a coin problem. Very famous problem. These are the classical problems. See, we're having more than 1500 problems are there. Not possible to complete it within these 72 hours of training. And 3 hours today we have passed already. We're remaining with the 69 hours. Not possible. But at least I can touch each and every type, at least, so that when the problem will come, you can find, yes, this particular problem is falling under that very category. So let me try it in that way. Coin problem. What is a coin problem? Say we're having say three denominations, say. Okay, now one value has been given 50. Now tell me, and each and every coin with this particular value, with this particular denomination, is of infinite number of pieces. Okay, number of pieces is infinite. Now tell me, to reach to this particular figure, what will be the minimum number of coins required? What will be the minimum number of coins required to reach to this particular value? So there is a coin problem where this greedy algorithm will be used. Next one, another kind of problem I can share. There's a what should I say next up problem. It can have the greedy solution. So I'm telling you, say we're having say values, say 1, 2, 3, and 5. We're having this 1, 2, 3, and 5. Now using them, using these values, by adding them, what are the possible values you can generate? So in total we're having how much? This is a 8 and this is my 3, so 11. So we're having this one, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So can you form 1? Yes. 2? Yes. 3? Yes. 4? Yes. 3 plus 1. 5? Yes. 6? Yes, I can form 6. How can you form 6? 5 plus 1. 1, 2, 3, 6. 7? Yes. 8? Yes. 9 can you form? Can you form 9? Yes. 9. 10 can you form? Yes. 11 can you form? Yes. Here accidentally I took one example where everything has become yes, but it may not be. If it change this particular sequence, some combinations may not get formed. So that sort of which combinations, how many combinations can be formed in total by adding them in different order. So this next problem can be solved using greedy algorithms. Did you get my point? Whatever I'm trying to say. So whenever such problems will be coming, you can easily find that yes, this problem is falling under the greedy category. Okay, done. Next one, we're going for this dynamic programming. Any questions from your end? Ask me, please. Any questions? I'm waiting for your question, please. Ask me. Okay, no question. We're going for the dynamic programming. Now, dynamic programming is a technique that combines the correctness of complete search and efficiency of greedy algorithms. So sometimes greedy algorithms will be there within the dynamic programming. So dynamic programming can be applied if the problem can be divided into overlapping sub-problems. Very important concept, overlapping sub-problems. overlapping subproblems. So whenever a problem can be thought as overlapping subproblems, in those cases the dynamic programming can be applied. So overlapping subproblems, and here the uh, subproblems will be solved independently. Then you shall find out the final solution of the problem. So this dynamic programming can be of two types of problems. Problem type number one, finding an optimal solution. This is one kind of problem. Another kind of problem, say counting the number of solutions. So two kinds of problems will be there under the dynamic programming. If you say that out of all this topic, which topic is the most important? Say you are having, say, 1 week left before your exam. You haven't taken any preparation yet. You haven't started any preparation. Now you have asked me, sir, I want to go through only one technique, one programming technique or algorithm on which the most problems will be coming. Tell me that one. The answer is dynamic programming. So huge number of problems are falling under this dynamic programming category. Okay, so counting the number of solutions and finding an optimal solution. So two types of problems may come. So in case of dynamic programming, can be used to find the optimal solution, and then we can use the same idea for counting the number of solutions also. Understanding the dynamic programming is a milestone in every competitive programmer's programming to different problems. So say this dynamic programming can be applied onto multiple varieties of problems. So there's a dynamic programming. So let me give you some examples of this dynamic programming. One is a coin problem. What is a coin problem? I told you this one. We are having certain denominations, infinite number of coins per type, and then you are supposed to aggregate them to reach to a certain fixed value. So that is a coin problem. You can easily go through. Next, we can go for longest increasing subsequence. What a classical problem this one. What a classical problem. You know that it is a most common problem which used to come. Longest increasing subsequence. That means we're having some set of numbers. We're having some set of numbers there, say 792. So now we are supposed to find out that which is the longest increasing subsequence. Say one subsequence, I'm telling this one, so 0, 1, 3, 7, 9. So this is the longest increasing subsequence. Say here I'm putting, say, one value, say 2. Say here I'm putting one value, say 5. But I can take this one. I can take this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 7, 9. So yes, you can omit some of the numbers in between. So you are getting the longest increasing subsequence. So it is a very famous problem. I shall be showing the solution in n square complexity of the order of n complexity. I shall discuss this one. So coin problem, longest increasing subsequence, that is the most important and favorite problem for different competitive programs, competitions. And then we are having the path in a grid. Very classical problem. What is that? What is the path in a grid? Can anyone tell me? Can anyone tell me what is the path in a grid? Have you ever came across such problems? Not the solutions. I'm just talking about, did you ever heard this problem, path in a grid? Please tell me yes or no, please. Do you have the concept of path in a grid, or should I discuss?
No, sir.
No. Okay, good. See, path in a grid. Our class timing is fantastic. Wake up in the morning, do your personal study, do your work. At 9, join with a fresh brain. This class timing will add more advantage in our learning. If we carry out this class from 7 to 10 or say 6 to 9, that effect you can't get. In the morning class, as all of you are aware have agreed, because I used to give such proposal to other colleges, take the class in the first half. They used to say the student cannot wake up and join. Students cannot wake up and join. So I could not enforce them to make the class timing in the first half. But Gargi Memorial, you see here, I'm finding this class timing as from 9 to 12. What a fantastic class timing. I appreciate. So today you are having your easiest class today. From tomorrow onwards, not tomorrow, we'll be taking another 2 to 3 days to build up the basic programming logic. Then we shall start my coding, actual competitive coding. And then you can find that for each and every problem discussion, I might be taking 1.5 hours. You will not leave me. You will tell me, no, sir, explain this one again, explain this one again. It will take 1.5 hours, 2 hours to discuss one problem. And that is the main learning session. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'm telling, path in a grid. Okay, see. So we are having some weightages are there. Okay, arbitrarily I'm putting some weightages. Say, I'm just putting some weightages here. Say 7, 8, 2, 4, 6, 5, 9, 11, 10, 2, 2. Now, my starting point is here. My finishing point is here. This is my finish and this is my start. So top left corner will be the starting point. Bottom right corner will be the ending point or finishing point. You can move either this or you can move either this or this. You cannot move any other way. Okay, you cannot move this. These moves are not valid. So this and this are valid. Okay, now we shall have to tell that very path which will have the minimum cost, to reach to the finish to start. So this is the path you are supposed to describe. So this is known as, this is a point problem in path in a grid. So this is the problem, path in a grid. So I think you are getting me that what is path in a grid. Okay, so just think, if I give you such problem, how will you solve it? At least for 2 hours you'll be just putting some scratches on your paper. At least for 2 hours you'll be doing the scratches on your paper, then you shall go for this actual solution. So that's why to solve 4 problems, 5 problems, the company used to give 6 hours. Sometimes you can form a group. You can take students from say from USA. You can take another student from Japan. You can take another student from say Kerala, and you are forming a group of 4 and appearing for a certain competition. So that may also happen. Okay, so we have completed. Should I discuss anything extra? Okay, another problem type, very classical problem, that is known as the edit distance. Edit distance. What is the edit distance? It has got another name. Can I recall the spelling? Levenstein. Leven, Leven is Shtein. Levenstein. Okay, Levenstein distance. What is this edit distance? What is this? I'm giving you one example. See, we're having move. Sorry. No. Just wait, please. Okay. See, we're having the word say love. Love. I want to convert this love to movie. Movie. I want to convert this love to movie. Okay. Now you have been asked that what is the minimum number of steps in which you can do it? Minimum number of steps. So what are the steps possible? Step number 1, delete a character. Step number 1. Step number 2, update a character. Step number 3, insert a character. So these are the 3 steps you can do. Now, how many minimum number of steps we require to convert laugh to movie? Very famous problem, this one, very famous. What will be the minimum number of steps between conversion between laugh to movie? Next one, first step. Step number 1, L to be replaced by M. Step number 1, L to be replaced by M. Step number 2, I to be inserted. How many steps you require? 2 steps. So that is known as the edit distance. This sort of problem will be coming under the dynamic programming. See, we're having a few minutes left in my class, so I cannot go for coding. You can easily understand it needs no declaration from my end. I cannot go for coding today at least. So can you take this one as your example? Don't consider net. Okay, solutions are there, but the main problem here is that even if you get the solution from the net, you may not understand that one, because different people are having a different way of thinking. And sometimes you should appreciate that how this particular student could think the problem in this way can get done. Sometimes we get surprised. We never thought that problem could get done in this way, but out of the box the student could think. So do not see the solutions. See, in case of edit distance or Levenstein distance, one word has to be converted to another word. Okay, so what are the 3 operations you can do? Delete a character, and next one update a character, and next one insert a character. Okay, so now what will be the minimum number of operations, also known as minimum distance between 2 words? Say you may think that I shall delete L. So next time you can think that I shall update O by L, V by O, I by V, and EU element. So you can have say 4 operations you can think. I think you could not get me. But having movie M O V I E, you can also consider it in this way. LOVE. You can consider delete this, update this, update this, update this. So how many operations you are doing? 4 operations. But what is the solution? 2 operations. So you are supposed to find out the minimum number of steps required to convert one word to another word. Try this one at least. If you fail, then at least from the try, your brain nerves will get inclined towards that sort of logical thinking. I'm here in this class to make you think, not to teach you anything. Okay, done. Next one, I shall go for this amortized analysis. What is the amortized analysis? Can anyone give me some idea what is the amortized analysis? Don't consider it is one algorithm. It is one analysis, amortized. Can you tell me what is the amortized analysis? Anyone in the class, please? Can you give me some glimpse on this topic? Anyone in the class, please? Just give me some idea. What is the amortized analysis? No one? Not a single one? Really? Okay, let me check how many participants are there. 47. I hope that 45 participants are there. No one? Amortized analysis? No. Good. I'm going to tell you what is amortized analysis. Amortized analysis can be used to analyze algorithms that contain operations which time complexity will vary. Same operation may have the variable time complexities. Those cases we can say that we are having the amortized analysis. The idea is to estimate the total time used to all such operations during the execution of the algorithm, instead of focusing on individual operations, because different operations may take different time. Same operation may take different time. So that's why we should not consider the time complexity of a single operation. We should consider the time complexity of all such operations. I know that the concept is not getting clear to you. I know this. So let me give you some idea. Say we're having some set of data. Please get my point, please. We're having some set of data. 2, 5, 7, 9, 10, 1, 6, 4, 4, 2, 5. We're having this set of data we're having. Good. Okay, good. Now I shall be storing them in an array. I shall be storing them in an array. So now see, in the first case, the array will be having the initial size of 1. The array will be having the initial size of 1. So I've written the index 1. So what will happen if I put 2 here? Next time 5 cannot be put because there is no space. In that case, what will happen? The array will get expanded. It will get the size double, which was existing. Double of the existing size, not getting it. What is the size of the array? 1. 1 is the size of the array. So it will become 2 size. It will become 2 size. So it will become 5. So here I require minimum time, but here I require some extra time because I'm supposed to reallocate some memory space contiguous and then assigning 5 there. Now I want to insert 7. So here you can see that 7 is cannot be possible because there is no space. So here also you are increasing the size twice of the existing. So 2 has become 4 and you are inserting 7. So here you require some extra time. 9, automatically space is available. 10, no space is available. So the array size has to be increased. So it will become the size of 8. So 10, insertion of 10 requires some extra time. 1 can be inserted, 6 can be inserted, 4 can be inserted, next 4. So now it will become the size of 16. So this is my 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is my 16. So now here for this insertion of 4, I require some extra time. 4, 2, 5. So you can see that for this insertion, this insertion, this insertion, and this insertion, I require some extra time. So this is known as amortized analysis. Did you get my point? Anyone please in my class could not get it can ask me. From tomorrow onwards, please see to
Sir,
your
please
laptop.
explain.
Yes. Okay. From tomorrow onwards, please see to your laptop and desktop, not from your phone, because you are supposed to do some coding with me. Make the lead code account if you are not having lead code account, and have a discussion with the training and placement department and make one InfiniQ account also. See, this account will be on the Infosys portal. So that's why what you are doing on that very account, whether you are solving or not solving, whatever you are doing on that very account will be traced by Infosys. So that's why you know that you should use that one very carefully, because you know that if you appear for the Infosys campusing, and if they find that you haven't solved any one of the questions from that portal, so they can trace. This much I can tell you. Okay, now I'm repeating again. So initially the array size is 1. So array size is 1, so 2 can be inserted, but 5 cannot be inserted. So I made the size double. So this is a double size. Okay, next. So 5 has got inserted. So 5 requires some more time to increase the array size, reallocations, and then inserting 5 there. Then 7 has got no space. So again the array size will become 4. So 7 will get inserted. So 7 will take some extra time because allocation of memory space is going to take place and insertion of 7. 9 will be inserted smoothly because there is no space is available, vacant space. 10 cannot be inserted. So now array size will be increased to 8. Now the array size will be increased to 8. So 10 will be taking much longer time to get inserted. And then 1, 6, 4 will be inserted smoothly. Then 4. Then the array size will be getting increased to 16 because 8 into 2 is 16. So double of the existing size. So now 4 will be inserted. It will be taking more time. 2, 5 will have the smooth journey. In this way, the other numbers might also get inserted. So this is known as amortized analysis, where the same operation may take different time in different situations. So we should not calculate the time complexity on a single operation. We should take the time complexity of multiple operations in our consideration. Next one, we are going for the range queries. What is a range query? Range queries. So range queries will be working, which will allow us to efficiently process range queries. And in a range query, our task is to calculate a value based on a sub array of a main array. Calculations will be done on a sub array based on the main array. Say we are having one array. Let me take one example, because until and unless I give you example, the concept would not be clear to you. So we are having one array of 8 locations. We're having one array of 8 locations. Okay, done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they are having some value. Say 1, 3, 8, 4, 6, 1, 3, 4. Okay. Now I'm executing one query. Some some query, range query, some query 3 comma 6. That means in between 3 to 6, what is the sum of the value? 8 plus 4, 8 plus 4, 12 plus, that is my 6. So 18 plus 1. So that is my 19. So these are some of the queries is this. Uh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Good. So now I'm taking this one. Say this is a 12 plus this is a 19. Next, we can go for max query 3 comma 6. What is that? Wait. Mean query 3 comma 6. What is that? So this is known as range queries. We are doing the processing on the subset of an array, sub array. So that is known as a range query. So these sort of problems might be coming. Next one is a bit manipulation. Next one is a bit manipulation. So now what is a bit manipulation? In case of bit manipulation, see, I remain very much excited while taking the class on bit manipulation. I love this one. Why? Because using bit manipulation, you can do so many different kinds of problem. The n-queens problem can also be solved using bit manipulation. You can't think that how we can solve the bit manipulation problem. So in case of bit manipulation, we're having the bitwise operators like your left shift. We're having the bitwise operators like left shift. We're having sorry. This is my right shift. This is my left shift. Also, we can go for left shift equal to right shift equal to. We can go for logical operations called AND, called OR, called NOT, called complement. So these are the operators we'll be using. Also called XOR. Also called XOR. So these are the operations which you can use. These are the operations. In case of Python, AND. In case of Python, OR in lowercase. In case of Python, NOT. In case of Python, complement, once complement. In case of XOR, Python, upper caret. So these are the operators are there in Python. In other languages, they are having, say, in case of C, C++, Kotlin, and, or, there's a filter sign, or double filter, not. Not is this one, not. This is a complement, and this is XOR. In for other languages, for Fortran, dot and dot over dot. In shells programming, minus a minus o. So different languages are having different syntax. Need not to bother. Consider this one. It is for Python. So see, this is my bit by bit manipulation. So I might be starting my training with the bit manipulation. Might be, because so many problems can be solved, and you can find that how this bit manipulation can be our main tool of solving such competitive programming. So that is my bit manipulation. Next one I shall go for, say, basics of graphs. Next one I want to discuss basics of graphs. So in case of basics of graphs, I should mention that you should revise the graph chapter, graphs and terminologies. Please remember all the terminologies: in degree, out degree, degree, level, height, node, internal node, external node, leaf node, parent node, root node, child, siblings, anything. Left subtree, right subtree, bipartite graph, Euler graph, weighted graph, directed graph. There are so many terminologies. My opinion is that my request to all of you, please go give a good revision on this graphs. These classes are not to discuss what is a graph, what is the meaning of the term bipartite graph, what is the meaning of the term component of a graph. I cannot discuss these things. So that's why please have a revision on these graphs. Next one, we shall go for the graph traversal. So there are so many algorithms are there. We're having BFS, breadth first search. We're having DFS, depth first search. So these algorithms, from this very name, it is quite obvious. It will search for the node. So breadth first search, depth first search. We're having the Kruskal's algorithm. Kruskal's algorithm. We're having the Prim's algorithm. Prim's algorithm, Kruskal's and Prim's. So these algorithms are for finding a minimum spanning tree. We're having the algorithm called Dijkstra's algorithm, Dijkstra. Dijkstra algorithm. Dijkstra algorithm is for finding out the shortest path between any pair of nodes. Finding out the shortest path between any pair of nodes. We're having the Warshall's algorithm. Warshall's algorithm. Warshall's algorithm is required to find out the path matrix, whether from this node to that node. Is there any path? From that node to that node. Is there any path? So this Warshall's algorithm will be one Boolean matrix. Boolean. It will get filled up with 0 or 1, false or true. So can I go from A to B? Can I come from B to D? So that is the Warshall's algorithm. Next, we're having the Floyd's algorithm. Floyd's algorithm. Floyd's algorithm means it will give you the cost matrix. Warshall's algorithm will tell that yes, you can go from A to D. Floyd algorithm will tell that yes, you can go from A to D against the cost 55. In case of Warshall's algorithm, it will tell that from B to D you cannot go. So the value will be 0 at that very row and column intersection. But in case of Floyd's algorithm, it will tell that B to D the cost is infinite. That means you cannot go. Cost is infinite. So Floyd's algorithm will give you the cost matrix, and Warshall's algorithm will give you the path matrix. We're having the Bellman-Ford algorithm. Bellman-Ford algorithm is for the flow analysis. Flow. What is the maximum flow in which path, so that there would be no congestion. So these are the BFS, Dijkstra's, Kruskal's, Prims, Warshall's, Floyd, and Bellman-Ford algorithm. So my opinion is that please have a good revision over this graph terminologies, graph diagrams, and graph algorithms. I cannot teach this one in my class. Sorry to say. If I teach, then at least 4 to 5 classes will be discussed. I can discuss only on the graph theory. I'm having no objection to discuss. If you say that yes, we cannot get it done at our end, cannot understand all this concept, I can do it for you, but it will take some time. Tree algorithms and spanning trees. So these are the topics I'm just leaving for you. Sorry to say, I cannot take the charge of this. If I take the charge, then some time will be utilized here. We shall get lesser time in our competitive coding part. So what are the topics we haven't considered? Directed graphs, strong connectivity, tree queries, path and circuits, flow and cards, number theory, combinatories, matrices, probability, game theory, string algorithms, square root algorithms, segment tree revisited. We're having the geometry, sweep line algorithms. So this we haven't mentioned in the course outline. See the topic list. It takes years to prepare, years. These are the different coding portal sites. You might be having more names, whatever I'm having right on the screen. Would have been the Hacker Rank, Code Words, Coder Byte, Dev Skill, Code Forces, Coding Game, Geeks for Geeks, Code Shape, Interview Bit. Very important site, this one. Interview Bit. If you can can participate in this particular site, in the competitions. I'm telling you the actual.
Yes, sir.
Right. So, okay. Sogato, thank you. Shobit, Motiu, thank you. So we'll be continuing such classes. So tomorrow I'll be coming up with some logical problems to build your logic.
Hello, sir.
Can anyone tell me in the object-oriented programming using Python, you have the class work code? What very serious topic. Do you have the codes with you?